the view that scholars have had for a very long time is that Jesus died sometime around the year 30 of the Common Era, and that the Gospels start appearing about 40 years later. The Gospel of Mark is almost certainly our first Gospel, and it's usually dated to around the year 70 of the Common Era. Matthew and Luke, maybe 10 or 15 years after that. John, maybe 10 years after that. So John may be being written in the 90s of the Common Era. And so what this means is that the Gospels are being written by people who are writing 4, 5, 6 decades after the events they narrate. The Gospels themselves are written in Greek, and they were originally composed in Greek, so that their authors are Greek-speaking Christians living 40, 50, 60 years later. Jesus himself would have spoken Aramaic, and he lived in Palestine. None of these authors lived in Palestine. And so then the big question is, where did they get their stories from? They don't claim to be eyewitnesses. There's nothing about these books to make you think they were eyewitnesses. They're later Christians. And the normal view is that they've heard their stories from storytellers. Christians have been circulating by word of mouth stories about Jesus' life for decade after decade until the gospel writers wrote them down.